The wedding coordinator catching attitudes, the DJ doing heroin, Rachel need to be shot, Charlie cheating, Emma, you was finna do what at the school? And why is everybody throwing up? Oh, we got a lot of stuff to cover in this review. So in today's review, I'm going to be talking about the movie, The Drama. And so to give a quick brief overview, it is basically just like two people, they start to like fall in love, you know, get into a couple, and they eventually, you know, want to get to married. And so they basically are, you know, with their friends, they're planning and everything, and then they sit down at a table, they discuss one night about, you know, their deepest, darkest secrets, what's the worst thing that they've done, and after that, the drama happens. So by now, I hope everyone has already watched the movie, so it is going to be a little spoilers ahead. And I also want to give a quick little warning. It's going to be talking about like depression, school, and, you know, if you've ever thought about taking, you know, not wanting to be here on Earth. So for the first thing that I want to talk about is forgiveness. Now, this was the big thing that I have really enjoyed about the movie is how it touched on the idea of forgiveness, because it was like, Rachel and like so many people, Rachel and Charlie, especially when they learned about Emma, you know, her past and like her childhood and stuff, they like so quickly like looked at her differently. But the part that really had gotten me the most about the movie is because it's like, okay, Charlie cheats and Emma ends up knowing, but like, you know, it might just because they're in the midst of the wedding, but like Emma doesn't immediately like ridicule Charlie, and then, you know, towards the end they end up sitting down and it's like they basically kind of like restart and they meet each other. And that was very big for me just because, you know, like we're all not perfect, people make mistakes and stuff, but I just find that that was so interesting how Emma, she was like so quick to like forgive Charlie because he actually did something, whereas Charlie, it was like he couldn't even fathom Emma could think about something like that. It was like he looked at her completely differently. You know, when they were taking the wedding photos, it was like different images he had in his head. He asking people questions, like it's like he couldn't put it past her. Mind you, she didn't even do it, but it's like he does something to her and she quickly takes him back. And so I just like elements like that about like forgiveness. And then, you know, as I go through these things, I also want y'all to put like in the comments below, like, do y'all think even though someone like didn't do something like that, could y'all like still like someone? Could y'all still love someone? Could y'all still like see yourself in that person? Throughout all these themes, I want y'all to continue to think about that as we continue to go on. And then for the second one I want to talk about is marriage. And I guess, how do y'all feel about like I guess like issues within marriage and stuff? This would probably be a little shorter because, you know, I've never been married, but like, you know, how do y'all just feel about marriages and stuff? Because like I find that funny too, you know, when you marry, it's like, you know, till death do us part. So do y'all also, like a discussion type base, like, do y'all think like cheating, I know some people take cheating back, some people don't, like how do y'all feel about that in marriages? Like, do you think it just depends, there's a lot of nuances, details in the situation, or is it like a no-go? Because it was like, you know, at the end, Emma, it seems like she still liked Charlie, she still loved him, you know, because she still wanted to be connected, she still wanted to be there, you know what I mean? And she didn't necessarily have to, even though the wedding, y'all know the scene, it was a hot mess, but it was like just little things like that. Like, do you think Emma should have still stayed with Charlie? Do y'all still think she should not have? And then even when it comes with like cheating, do y'all think Charlie's was like understandable or like not understandable? But for me, it really has shook me, and like I said, we'll get into my thoughts later, but like it really shook me when he had cheated. Like, I was watching the movie and I'm taking notes, I literally gasped. I was like, what is going on? Oh, this the drama. This the drama. I was like, what is going on? I was like, what? He really just cheated? But like I said, I think that was such good for them to do as like directors and stuff, because it was like, literally, it was like everybody was doing Emma wrong, and it was like he couldn't understand Emma. But now I feel like when he was able to make his own mistake, he's now able to like see like, oh, okay, like I feel like he was, it's crazy because it's like, okay, he liked her, he wanted to marry her, but I feel like he did not understand her until he made his own mistake. And so now he's like, oh, now I have the opportunity to be judged just as much as her, you know what I mean? So I just want you, like I said, just think about that. Like I said, think about the marriage question as well. Now, this was the biggest thing I put down on my list when I was taking notes. But when it comes to just like friendships, people, even I guess random people, lovers in marriage, how do you feel about knowing like people's deepest, darkest secrets, or like I guess like their biggest mistakes, their biggest regrets? Like, do y'all think, even say you get so far in like a friendship, or you get so far with like loving someone, do you think you could still be friends with someone after knowing like their biggest regret, their biggest mistake? And then also when it comes to marriage, do you think so? For me, because like I said, I've made my own mistakes in life. I haven't gotten married and stuff yet, or had like a relationship, so I can only talk about friendships. And it's like, of course, no one's ever perfect. I've made my own mistakes when it comes to friendships, but it's like, I've taken people back. People have taken me back. So I would say, in terms of that, like, yes, I think no one sometimes people's deepest darkest secrets. I think depending on what it is and nuances, I think I could still take someone back, but then I understand, like, if it comes down to, like, I would say, like, say you take someone else's life. I don't want to say the M word just because I don't know YouTube, but like, say you take someone else's life, depending on that, maybe not. Because, like, say if you're in the military, like, you have to defend the country, like, you taking someone's life, that might be the worst thing you've done. But then, like, say just naturally, you know what I mean? Or like when people would harm, like, children and stuff, like, I feel like that is very, like, touchy and stuff. So I don't necessarily know that. But like I said, I've made my mistakes in friendships, and I'm still friends with certain people. And I've never been into like relationships. Like I said, people in the comments, if y'all made mistakes in relationships, how do y'all feel about like that? Like, I know no friendship, relationship, or marriage is perfect, but do you think certain mistakes or certain issues are like too unforgettable? You know what I mean? Because when I had wrote that, I was like, that was interesting, because like at the end of the day, like, they were just learning about each other, but everybody, her best friend Rachel, she was irritating me, but even her to soon to be husband Charlie looked at her completely differently. And so that really just opened my eyes to, like I said, a big discussion. Like, how do you feel about, like I said, learning people's darkest secrets? Do you think you've been friends with someone for years and you learn their darkest secret, would you befriend them? You learn about their biggest mistake, would you befriend them? Say you're married and right before marriage, or say you are married to someone and you learn about their biggest mistake, their biggest regret, their biggest anything, would you still be married to them? Like, all these things, like, it was so many things in this movie, like, it was just so good. And then I also wanted to touch on a subject about, like, being guilty about stuff. And there was 2 times I liked how they touched on this theme, even though this would go into the same way as like forgiveness. I liked how it was like, when Emma had felt guilty and stuff, like, remember at the wedding she ended up like taking like a shot, she had to keep drinking and stuff. So that's another thing I want to take on, because I feel like a lot of times when we go through stuff, we'll try to like escape it by like substance, or like, when Charlie had felt that way about Emma, he ended up like cheating on her. So it was like when we feel guilty, we feel bad about something, sometimes we often try to like escape in certain ways. And so I feel like it was like escaping by like drinking and stuff, or like even when she was in school, like getting bullied and stuff, like it's like she felt guilty about it then, but it was like I said, it was like she was trying to use that like as an escape almost, you know what I mean? Like the mental health aspect. Even in Charlie, he had felt guilty, and then now he was saying everything at the wedding. He didn't cheat on his wife. So like it was just so many things. Like I wanted to talk about that. And then for another part that I want to talk about is just relatability. I feel like there were so many points that were relatable in this movie. Well, I guess another part I had under here is like micro, but I put like the struggles with like fitting in and stuff, and I feel like that was like super duper relatable. Now, I don't know if y'all watched like 13 Reasons Why, but like remember the situation happened to like Tyler, like he had gotten bullied or whatever, and he wanted to go to the school and do his thing, and like, not to say I could ever relate to something like that, but I found that interesting when they talk about that, because, for example, that's a theme I didn't put on here, but like bullying and, not fitting in, struggles with like being, being a teenager and stuff. And I never really had that. So that's why I want to say, like, for people out there that was bullied, like, how was that in like high school? Even they be talking about people get bullied in college. Like, I feel like I've never gotten like bullied, because I feel like I always had like a strong personality and I'm very vocal. And I think the only thing with me that I feel like I had a struggle with in like middle school was like sometimes, people's voice crack, people's voice changes. So like I feel like when mine was a little younger, a little, I guess, softer and not as deeper, people might have thought like I was like gay or whatever. And I remember like that might have been like my only struggle, but at the same time it was like one person that said something, but other than that it was like I never was like bullied or anything. So like to see how like she was bullied, most people when they're bullied, they go through a lot of mental health stuff. And then it was like, I don't know if it was meant to be like interpreted, but they never really showed like her parents being present in the home, because same thing, it was like her dad is military, why he even letting her buy the rifle, touch the rifle, you know what I mean? It was like, where was her parents at and stuff? And so I just find that another interesting thing, because I know a lot of people do struggle with that. A lot of, some of even my friends now, they're like kind of quiet and stuff. Not everybody, it's easy to like make friends like in college, middle school, and high school. I've always had a bunch of friends, so I've never really had that feeling of like having nobody or like being bullied and not fitting in. So like I said, I think that was very interesting, because it's one of the things, like, not to say we can never excuse that behavior or like excuse those thoughts and wanting to take those actions on people, at school, but it does open the eyes of, like, I put on here like Sonder, like, you never really know what is going on in people's lives and stuff until you like ask and stuff, because I was thinking about that too, like, in high school and even in middle school, like, who you might not ever know, one of your friends or someone around you, someone you had in class, what if they thought about doing that? You know what I mean? Like, you never really know. And like I said, it was just funny because, like, even when they showed like her character development and like her getting into like gun reform and stuff, I was like, that's so interesting, because like the kids don't know. And I was like, even to go back to like, like mental health, bullying, and like depression, like, still, you never know what people are going through. If someone ever wanted to, like, not be on this earth anymore, like, you don't know those things until you ask. And it's like, I've went through my own mental health struggles and stuff, and it was funny because, like, when I'd open up about it, I would tell people would say the same thing, like, oh, I didn't know you were going through that, or like, it's crazy, you never know what people are going through, their, the weight they have, the baggage they're holding, they're carrying, you never know. And so that just really had opened my eyes, because I'm like, dang, it was someone I went to high school with that thought about doing that. Was someone at my other friend's high school thought about doing that? Like, you never know. You would kind of, and then knowing to see like her reactions and even her friends' reactions, or even to see like, in America now, since that is very present and prevalent, like, that's not something somebody would post. That's not something somebody would share. They would come out and explain. So that's why I'm like, whoa, like, that's very interesting. And like I said, you would never know until you ask. For the last theme is like, how do you guys measure love and like the capacity for someone? Because I put on here, like, do you think you have the capacity to look past certain things? Like, are you the type of person, friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife? Do you have a lot of capacity? Do you have a lot of patience? You know what I mean? Because like, I just liked how it was kind of shown through the movie. Like I said, Emma, she learns about her husband Charlie had cheated on her, but it was the fact that it was like she still wanted to talk to him, she still wanted to be around him, she still loved him. So it was like she had that capacity. But the same thing with you guys, because I know certain people, like I use like Beyonce and Jay-Z, like they always bring stuff like that up, but it's like, Beyonce took Jay-Z back. But I know it's a lot of like nuances and stuff, so every situation is not perfect. But that's what I was saying, like, how do y'all feel about stuff like that? Because when it says you love your partner, you marry, do you take all your persons and husband and wives like issues? Do you take all their struggles? Do you take all of their dark thoughts and darkness? You know what I mean? Everybody has a light, everybody has a good and a bad side. So it's like, do you take both sides, or you just want just the good side? You know what I mean? And I like how that was explained throughout the movie, because like I said, it was just funny because Emma technically never really did anything wrong. You know what I mean? She had a thought, that was her childhood, that was her past, that was her trauma. And Charlie looked at her completely differently. But it's just like so ironic in the movie and like the dilemma, because Charlie treats her completely differently, but then when he does something, he does not. Like, I literally was like typing all this stuff down on my computer, because I'm like, that is just so crazy. He completely, I'm talking about completely, they were taking pictures when they had shown her with the rifle. I was like, oh my god, like, I literally put on my computer, like, he almost don't even know who he finna marry. Like, what was that TikTok thing? Who did I marry? It's like that. Like, he almost don't even know who he's about to marry. And mind you, she didn't even do it. But it's the fact that he does something wrong and she still took him back. And I'm just like, wow, like, that is crazy. So that's why I was saying, like, just to be able to, like, what is your capacity for people, or your patience for people? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm going to be reading off here for my next category, what it's like, what I liked or could have been changed. So maybe it's just the horror and, like, thriller fan of me, but I low-key wanted them to, like, the wedding. Like, when they had showed the little image at first where everybody was lying out dead and stuff, I was like, wait, is this a thriller? I thought I was supposed to give romance comedy. What I said, well, what movie am I watching? And so why low key I think I want them to do that, but like that just might be the thrill in me, cause why I feel like that would have been tough though. But like, wait, that might have been too much. Y'all let me know. Is that too much? Y'all let me know. But Rachel should have been shot. Yes, right. Rachel should have been shot, no, because Rachel was irritating me. She not trying to help her she was not trying to help Emma do that project. She was just doing too much. She telling people at the wedding. I was like, Then she gonna get up and do that little speech like, Rachel, you could have kept that. No, Rachel should have been shot. A24, the directors. Can y'all book me for the social media team, please? A24 is probably, I would say Blumhouse or A24 is one of my favorite companies. A24, one thing about them, they gonna know how to shoot that movie, okay? Because like Bones and all, if y'all watch that movie, y'all let me know. I could do, see, that's why I'm doing movie reviews, because I just love movies. But A24, I love the cinematography. I think Moonlight was A24, Bones and all. The drama, like I absolutely love the shots in this movie. I think what added to like the drama, the dramatic effect was like I noticed a lot of the scenes did not have a proper ending, which I think was good and it was very intentional. Like they would be joking about something and boom, the next scene. Like somebody would be thinking about something, boom, the next scene. Like it was never like an ending to the scene. It was never a finished like thought. And I think that added to like the pacing. That was another thing I want to talk about, the pacing. I think that added a lot to the pacing because it was like, okay, we're moving on. We're going here, next scene. And so I think I really like that. I really loved I couldn't tell if it was just me, maybe it was my TV, but I love the grain. I feel like there was a grain on the film, the image. I was like, okay, I like that. And then I liked how, like, I felt like the movie, especially when they're in the coffee shop, like, because, you know, I feel like nowadays coffee shops are very, like, colorful, aesthetic. I liked how it was, like, a very dark lighting, dark contrast, like, especially, like, towards the end of the movie. I think what it might have been a little cooler because the pacing and the dialogue and even the imagery changed after the wine sipping scene. And so I think it would have been cool. It's like before, maybe it would have been like a little lighter contrast, and then after, like, the lighting would have been darker to show like that contrast overall, if y'all kind of get what I'm saying. So, but I absolutely love A24, the shots. They were doing a lot of like zoom in, so it would be like 3 people in the scene, but it would be far, but then it would be close, and then it would end. They had a lot of good shots. I love when I watch a movie. Like, I don't know if y'all know the movie Blink Twice. I think when they were on the island. Like, I love when I'm watching a movie and I'm like, that's a good shot. I'll be having to write that down and be like, that was a good scene. I like this color. I like that shot. That was a good shot. They had a lot of nice little shots, and so I really liked that. I would say the little nice ounce of comedy too was kind of funny, especially with like the, I guess, I don't want to say dark elements, but like, you know, the serious elements of the stuff. So I think the comedy was good. I also really liked how we got a flashback about her, because for some reason, that was almost one of the very points I liked in the movie, and I actually didn't think they were gonna do flashbacks. I don't know why. Like when they had explained, like I like when movies do that too. Like I thought they were just gonna say she was deaf, and then they explained it, and then they tied it in, like stuff like that. I didn't know we were going to see a flashback, but I'm really happy they did that because one, I think it added layers to Emma's character. It added layers. It filled in plots, like her ear. But then I also feel like when they were doing certain things visually, it was like we're able to see how Charlie sees her. And I think that was good because it's different to say like, oh, I thought I was going to do this. But then when you actually show it, it's like, now it's like we're able to, even though it's like what Emma was doing was wrong, it's like we're able to connect it because, like I said, in America, that stuff is prevalent. You know what I mean? So I think that was like really good. We were able to see flashbacks. Even her dad, for example, it was like, you know, you could even try to make it be like, oh, it was a plot hole. They didn't explain how she got the rifle, but then her dad being in the military and all that. And then even certain things where he was like, it mysteriously went away and all that. Like I like that we were able to like see her, because I feel like at some point in the movie it was like, yeah, the first half was like them loving, and the second half was like, you know, the dramatic stuff. But I feel like it was like a teeny tiny point where it was just like her story, like 1/3 of the movie was like her story, and I think that was good. I don't think it would have been nothing, because I'm just thinking about it now. I don't think it would have done anything if we would have gotten like Charlie's backstory, because I don't think it would have added to the plot. But I think her and being able to, like I said, see what she was going through as a kid, was able to really explain that, because like I said, it was almost like we get to see how Charlie sees her a bit. Even though I don't know what he was saying, but it's like, you know, we were able to see her a bit, so I really liked that. And then to go into my personal take, and I was surprised when I saw like the Rotten Tomatoes, even though Rotten Tomatoes, they be playing, like, I remember they said something like, was it like Black Panther? It was one of those black movies I watched. Hidden Figures, I don't know, it was a good black movie I watched, and they put the ratings on. I said, oh, y'all anti-black. So I always like to see Rotten Tomatoes just to see what people gonna say, but I stopped judging movies based off of that a long time ago. But I would say my personal take, I love the movie. Like I said, I love the shots, the color grading, the overall message. It was way better than I had expected. I liked it. I think it had like 70 something tomatoes for the audience score. I liked it. I don't know, because I'm trying to, because I mind you, I had watched like someone's review over this, but I guess I didn't really like pay attention to it. But I don't know. I don't know if it was because I note take and I was able to like peep a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I liked it. I gave it, I'll just go to my overall rating. I would give it a 9 out of 10. Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe because I had thought it was just going to be about a wedding and romance. So I'm like, maybe I only liked it so much because it was better than I expected. But I feel like that's not really a bad thing, right? But no, I loved it. I loved it. I loved the themes, the topics, because I feel like it's different. And maybe, like I said, and I think I like movies like this too, where there's multiple categories. Because one, say if you have been bullied, like I said in the themes in the beginning, like if you were bullied, you probably could have really related to Emma. Like I can't, so I've never did that. But it's like, you know, I'm someone who, you know, like I said, I've made mistakes in my past, and you know, my friends know about it. My friends still are friends with me, and so I was able to connect to that part because, you know, Rachel didn't give Emma that grace when some people have given me that grace. So I was able to connect to like that part. But then I'm like, you know, there's some people who married and have watched this, and they were like, you know, how was it when before y'all got married? Did y'all have issues? Did y'all you know, like for example, they were having sex and like it wasn't like they weren't feeling it. And so I'm like, like as a couple, like I said, I've never been in a full-blown relationship, but as a couple and like a married couple, how do y'all, you know, people probably have went through that where maybe you had an argument and you couldn't have that intimacy, those intimate stuff. And so I'm like, okay, like how is that? So that's why I was like, I like that it was like so many layers. For example, same thing me, you know, I'm 22 years old, but you know, same thing now, they still have school, you know, like FSU, Florida, Parkland, Columbine, like they, you know, I mean, the fact that I can name them means it happens. You know what I mean? The fact that I can name you and y'all probably all know all of those shows that like that's a prevalent issue. And so I just kind of, not say funny, but like it's just, like I said, it's ironic because the movie was about a wedding, but like it's almost like the wedding wasn't even the most important topic of the whole movie. You know what I mean? I feel like the other part was. So I don't know. I love the movie. It was. I mean, I literally have nothing bad to say. I be hating when I be watching good movies at home. I watched it on the Fire Stick, bootleg it. Don't say nothing. But you know, I watched it and I'm like, oh my god, like this would have been a good movie to see in the theaters. And so I be hating every time when I watch a good movie and I'm like, I want to talk about it, I want to review it, post a YouTube video about it. I'm like, no, why didn't see it in the movies? But no, like the movie was good. Like I don't know, I feel like it's a shocker because like, yeah, I watched it because Zendaya was in it, but it's like now I gotta watch challenges. What challenges talking about? Challenges review on the way. But yeah, I don't know. I liked it. I literally, there's nothing wrong. I feel like it maybe y'all didn't like it, which y'all didn't like. That's why I'm like, I want to open this discussion because I'm like, what did y'all not like? I liked it. Like, I don't know. It was good to me. Even at some point in the movie, too, because like I said, I love like thriller and horror movies, and so I think that was another thing too. Like when they were showing pictures and stuff of her with like the rifle, when they showed like the scene, or the DJ when he was like making a noise or something and it sounded like a pop. I remember thinking like, wait, it's about to happen. Like I was on my toes once that out. Before they got to the wedding, I was so anxious and so nervous. I'm like, oh, the wedding about to be a mess. It's about to be a mess. I was like, oh, and then I'm sitting here thinking like, wait, who finna die here? Who gonna get hit here? Like I was thinking, and the whole time it didn't happen. So I'm like, I don't know, like, but that's the thing, like, certain stuff like that, like, pulled me in, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, did it pull you guys in? Like, I don't know, I really liked it. And so, yeah, this is the end of this review. Please put down more movie reviews. I really enjoyed this. I had so much fun talking about this. Like, I even said, you know, I'm an IT major in college, but it's like I wish I would have did like a minor in like film or something. Like, I don't know. I love movies. Just when I was taking down the notes and organizing and the themes and stuff on my MacBook, I'm like, I don't know how in the world I did not do movie review already. Like, I love a movie. Like, I really hope like the Love Island video blew up. And people were like in the comments discussing. I hope y'all discuss in the comments, please. Like, cause what did y'all not like about the movie? Was it not dramatic enough? Was there no drama? Let me know. So, but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, please let me know down below what movies and other TV shows you would guys like to see. As you guys can see, I did move back. I didn't vlog me like moving back home, whatever, just because it's like I'm gonna do that next semester, so that'll be the final like senior goodbye and stuff. But yeah, I am back home. I will be working this summer. I just put all the updates in here. I will be working this summer again, so you know, like I said, just pray with me with the uploads if it's not as consistent. So but yeah, the movie, the drama was definitely had some drama, definitely dramatic. So, but yeah, let me know down below in the comments what other things you would like to see, reviews and takes, and continue to like, comment, subscribe. Road to 700 subs, really road to 1K, and I cannot wait to see y'all in the next review.